Ladies and gentlemen, here is the slate on Christmas Day in the NBA. It covers the whole entire day into the night. You see the times here. We start at noon, probably finish at around 1 in the morning with that last game starting at 10:30. 5 games, a lot of star power here. So let's bring in the stars of our show. Mike, I want to ask you something right off the bat before we get into any picks. You know, we're a couple days early, right? It's 12/23, Christmas in a couple of days. Is there an approach in terms of looking at these lines and maybe locking in a pick now or waiting until Christmas? What's your approach when looking at specifically the NBA when it comes to the timing?
Yeah, generally looking at totals when you're talking about looking early here. So I like to play unders a lot on the Christmas Day slate, and it's really has to do with some of the unusual start times, right? So these players typically play games in the evening outside of a Sunday afternoon game, but now you've got a midweek holiday game with all the distractions, some of them starting at noon Eastern. If you're a traveling team, that's like playing a game at 10 a.m., 11 a.m. in terms of the body clock there. So there's just additional distractions. Typically since about 2005, the unders on Christmas Day have hit around 58% of the time. Obviously, markets are aware of that. They do tend to start to adjust, but we've seen it already. You look at a couple of them that we're going to talk about here. One of them has already moved 4.5 points to the under, and that's just, you see that a lot. You will see typically these games move towards the under as it's a trend that people really become aware of. But if you think about the routines to some of these players, it does make sense that starting a little earlier and having the distractions of the holidays, again, many of them have children. There's all sorts of things that are distracting at the holidays. So I typically look to play unders in these games.
Very, very interesting stuff. All right, well, let's talk. We're going to talk about a couple of unders that you're looking at, Mike, in a second. But you like a side, Larry. What is it?
Yeah, the game that jumped out to me is the Minnesota Timberwolves traveling to Dallas against their nemesis, the Mavericks, who not only knocked them out of the playoffs in 5 games last year, but there was a big revenge spot early in the season in Minnesota. The T-Wolves were laying 4. They lost outright 120-114. Kyrie went off, and Anthony Edwards just can't do it all by himself. He's averaging under 21 points this month. They're down to number 21 in offensive rating because the spacing isn't good. When you have Jaden McDaniels and Julius Randle on the floor, there's just not a lot of space because people don't respect their outside shooting. So I just like the way the Mavs are looking 9-2 going into Monday's action. I think they keep pouring it on the T-Wolves. I'm going to lay this. I think it could go 5 or higher by tip-off.
And I'm looking at 2 totals here. See, I'm going to go Sixers-Celtics under, and I'm going to go Lakers-Warriors under. When you look at Sixers-Celtics, the Sixers play with the slowest pace in the NBA. And when you get stars on the court in these national TV games, you typically get a little more iso ball. You get more half-court offense. And that's what I see here. I think that these teams obviously do not like each other at all. I think that's what we get. And then Lakers-Warriors, kind of the same thing. LeBron and AD listed questionable. They're likely to play. But when they play, you're going to get more half-court offense. I think the addition of Dennis Schroeder to Golden State changes the way Steph Curry plays as well, but I think, again, leads to more half-court offense. I'm going to go under in this game, too.
Oh, I absolutely love it. Lakers, Warriors under, 76ers, Celtics under, and we got to play on the Mavericks -4.5. Ladies and